What is up, guys? It is Simba here, and welcome back to WOR content on the channel. And this is the opening round of the season for the Belgian Grand Prix, and I'm really excited to give you guys some WOR content because we are in Tier 4 for the season. We're not in Tier 6 anymore, and we're in a more competitive grid. So if you guys are up for that, make sure you get subscribed to the channel for some more league racing content. I'm going to try and make 2 league racing videos so you don't have to wait a week or a bit longer than that in between videos. So here we are for the Belgian Grand Prix. I've actually been enjoying this track on this game, and in practice I was feeling pretty good for it.
Not the cleanest run out of a Rouge.
And you join me on our first lap of the session, where we didn't get the cleanest run out of a Rouge, but we still do a low 0.8 for the first sector, which is quite solid as we get through Le Com, which is the 2 most dreaded corners for me on this track. As you guys know, it's not been a kind track to us in the past, in the last few F1 games, including a famous ending in SLR last season. So here we are closing up the lap. It's not been a great lap, and we almost ruined the whole thing by just mounting the curb through the chicane. But we're going to get this lap on the board, and it's a 41.3.
That was not clean, but we got it on the board.
And you can hear me say it wasn't a clean lap, but the main thing is it's on the board. And now you're going to see us here just preparing for our last lap of the session. We accidentally hold up a Mercedes of BRT Meatball. There he goes through the bus stop, and he's reported me for that. And I've seen his footage of it. I've cost him a 10th by doing that, and I've ruined his entire session. So if we get a penalty in the next race, it wouldn't surprise me. But for now, here we are on our last lap, going into La Source. Not clean as the last time, and as you can see, we've dropped a 10th out of 1 corner, which is pretty bad because that's pretty much the only corner you need to worry about in the first sector. As we go up a Rouge, it's a little bit cleaner, but yeah, not a great start to the lap. And remember, we've got a lot of time in this lap. My PB was a 40.7, so the fact that we're at nearly a 10th down on this lap is pretty bad. As we go through Le Com, and a little bit of a moment through here, you can see we almost cut the inside curb there and ruined our entire session as we're down to P11. Into Ravage we go now, really struggling with this corner, but we keep it in 4th gear, and that seems to do the trick. Through No Name we carry a bit more speed and confidence, but we're now level with the Delta. Into Pouon, more committed, a little bit braver than the last time, and now we are up on the Delta, but this has still not been the best of laps. We need to get this lap in. As you can see here, we just don't cut the inside curb there through the second part of that chicane. And now through the Stavelots, through Stavelo 1, again a little bit better on the traction, and we are a 10th.5 up. And as you can see here, we're going to get a beautiful slipstream here from Wave in the Alpine. He moves out the way, and you can see that's really helped us out going into the final chicane. And we know there's time in this because we literally mounted it the last time. Heavy braking just after the 100-meter board into 3rd gear, clip that apex, and we clip the next one as well. And now it's just a run up to the line, and we cross the line in P3.
So close, man.
And you can hear me a little bit disappointed because I was so close. And you look at the gap between 1st and 14th, less than half a second covering the top 14. We were 300ths off pole position, and that was a crucial lap right at the end. So we're going to be starting in a really strong position for the race. Although qualifying, we could have got pole, which is something I haven't said in a while. So it's nice to be near the front end of the field. And we're going to start on the hard tyres, and we're going to go on to the mediums, trying a little bit of an undercut against the guys around us. So a good qualifying. Let's see what we could do in our first race back in WOR. And the lights are out, and we are underway here in Spa, and it's not a great start from us. You can see the McLaren. Well, is it? No, it's not a McLaren. Yeah, it is a McLaren. I don't know what I'm talking about. As you can see, he went down the inside into the first corner, and we nearly went through wide there, but thankfully we all managed to get through safely as we climb up the hill through a Rouge, through Radion, and look at the run we're going to get. You can see Istvan trying to pass FRT Dan, and we're going to pass him as well. We're going to drain the battery as well, making sure that we are side by side with the Ferrari going into Le Com. We lock it in, we have a bit of a moment on the braking, a bit of contact with Dan as well, and Dan is coming back at us. We have to go over the curb. We go a little bit wide there. Thankfully it's not a warning, and Dan comes back on the inside and he goes for a half spin. And somehow we didn't make contact with him and we're into P2.
I don't think I touched him. But P2 we go.
And yeah, looking back on it, we didn't really touch him, so we got away with that one, and after all that, we find ourselves in P2, but Istvan's already built a gap on his medium tyres, so he's got the tyre advantage, which is not too much of a problem right now, because we're planning to go a little bit longer into this Grand Prix, or maybe even try an undercut as well, so that's fine. But what is not fine is us picking up a warning on the opening lap of the race, and you're going to hear me in a lot of comms here, because I'm by myself, and you'll see why that's important. As you can see, FG 3RT has just breezed past us, and again, he's on mediums, we're not going to fight him. We need to make sure that we can catch up with Istvan as well, so we don't lose touch with him as we go into the bus stop for the first time. You can see Shazoo Anthony has completely missed the corner, and he's got a 5-second penalty, and that is not ideal for him. He said a lot after the race, a lot of people were braking early, which is not ideal, as we plunge through the really unnecessary smoke at La Source. Please fix that, Codemasters. I don't know why that's a thing in this game. But now, into lap 3 we go. You can see we've got no ERS. ERS management is out of the window. It feels like everyone's dreading on the straight. And Anthony just absolutely sends it there through the chicane.
Keep on him. He might make a mistake.
He's flashing as well. Like, it makes no sense. I know he's on medium, but still.
And yeah, you can hear me pretty annoyed about that because, yeah, it was pretty unnecessary. Not really a place where you'd make an overtake, and Anthony's like, okay, I'm just going to send it. And yeah, he was actually caught out by a few people after the race because apparently his ego's too big to race in Tier 4. So he just decided to send it on everyone and their uncle for no reason, which pretty much sums up the racing etiquette in league racing these days. When you are on a slower tyre, people behind you think you're just going to lap at least 3.5 seconds slower, so they're just desperate to overtake you. So there you go, that's league racing in a nutshell. It's on to lap 4 now. We're down to P4. I think we're on 1 warning still, but yeah, the pace isn't feeling too great, and the ERS management is not a thing in this race. It feels like we are dropping back in Sector 2 a lot as well, because we ran 18-10 wings. So we're really hurting ourselves in the middle sector. And here comes the McLaren of Denzo up the inside. I might as well delete my channel. Oh my word. That was embarrassing. We have been put in a spliff by Denzo at the bus stop chicane. He's taken us for an absolute mug, and we are down to P5. The pace is not there. The confidence is not there. And you can tell with my reaction, I'm just getting more and more frustrated as this race goes on. So I'm really stuck in my own head here, and we're really struggling to get back into some sort of rhythm as lap 6.
Oh, for the love of God.
There is a 3-second penalty. And another warning, which is lovely, and you can hear my reaction. I am literally losing my head, and we're 5 laps into this race. I'm getting very frustrated because the pace felt so good in practice, but it's not there in the race. And that seems to be, yeah, that kind of sums up me in league racing. The pace is there in practice, but then the confidence kind of just goes by the time it's the real thing. I think just a lot of pressure, and I was putting myself under a lot of pressure to do well. Considering, you know, it's a new tier and everything, and we seem like one of the quickest guys in qualifying as well, so I think that played a part as well. As yeah, the Haas of, I think, Ryan has passed us. I can't really read the standings on the top left hand side because they're quite small. So yeah, forgive me if I get the names wrong, but yeah, Ryan's passed us, and the pace isn't there, the confidence isn't there, the ERS isn't really there either. But Belrofox has retired from the race, and he's gifted us a safety car on lap 10, so that gives everyone a free pit stop in this race, and we are back in the running for maybe an unlikely podium despite where we started. So we're back in the running for a podium at least, as we make a very nice transition into the pit lane, and we're going to go for the medium tyres. In hindsight, I wish I went for the soft, or I just started on the mediums, because the hard tyres are just an awful race tyre. and you know, having lower wings than most people didn't really help. So I was going for lower wings, hoping that I'd have an advantage on the straights, but everyone was draining, so it just reduced the advantage to 0. But we're going to go on the medium tyres now to the end of the race. I wish I just started on the mediums, I went to softs. That would just be a better strategy, as the hards are just an awful race tyre around Spa. So if you are racing around Spa, don't go for hards. They are rubbish around here. As we've got the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. Anthony has served a 5-second penalty, so we moved up into P5. And now we're going to get ready to race again at the end of lap 12, right behind Ryan on hard tyres. And
oh my god.
that is warning number 5. So now we're 1 warning away from 6 seconds of penalties. And I'm not going to lie to you, this second half of the race, nothing much really happens. We're going to skip straight to lap 16. We lost a place to a Williams of PSR Rex Road because he went for softs and he passed everyone except the 2 cars in the lead of the race. So he's up to P3. We're down to P6, but here we go. Now we're looking to make some progress, and we're actually building some confidence late on in this race, which is pretty frustrating. That shows how little confidence we had on the hards. We passed Isvan, who's out of battery, and we're draining it now to try and pass Ryan, try and make 2 moves in one go. We get through a little bit of a moment at Lecom once again, and we are up into 4th place in this Belgian Grand Prix, and that is definitely the moment of the race for me, and the confidence is there, and now we can go chasing after Rexrow, whose softs are going off.
That was good.
And for the first time in this entire video, you can actually hear me being pretty satisfied with my driving. So up to P4 we go, and now we've got a newfound motivation to try and catch the Williams and try and get at least P3 on the road, because that is definitely a possibility. But on to lap 18, we've got no ERS. We've got back to square one in that regard as we go through Lecom.
Oh my god, man.
We had a massive moment on the exit, and thankfully we didn't put it in the WOR. But we've lost the place to Ryan, and we've lost a lot of time to Rexrow in front of us. So I've just cost everyone, well, I've cost myself and everyone around me a chance to catch him. We were basically just swapping places with the Haas and the Ferrari of Langman behind us as well. I've seen him in an open lobby somewhere, and he seemed pretty quick. So he is actually in this fight too for a potential podium. On to lap 21 now, on the penultimate lap. We are a sitting duck effectively. We're basically where Isvan was a few laps ago. You can see Ryan's going to pass us, and Langman is going to get through as well. But crucially, he's got no battery. And meanwhile, my teammate has retired. I think Shazoo Anthony was involved in a collision with him, and yeah, Anthony was really caught out for his driving after the race, and yeah, pretty much got his ego in check as well, and he had a massive head loss in the WR Discord after the race as well. So he might be one to watch out for the wrong reason. As meanwhile, we're going to now pass Langman into the bus stop, nice and easy. We're trying to beat Ryan because realistically he's the only car we can beat because of the 3-second penalty, and we're still being mindful that we're 1 warning away from 6 seconds. So 1 lap to go now. Let's see if we can pass Ryan. We've saved up some sort of VRS, but I can tell you now, it's not going to mean much. You can see we're just not close enough to the Haas to actually get a run on him at the exit of Radion, and we're just going to keep following him. We're not going to give up yet. We've still saved a little bit of VRS. We've got a little bit closer to him. And look at the gap to Rexrow. We've really caught him on that last lap. So without that error, we could have been fighting for P3 on track really easily without that silly error at the exit of Lecom. We're just going to try and drain the battery to see if we can do anything in this last lap. But just like Jeddah in SLR, it's too little too late. We're just not close enough, and we're not going to make any inroads, sadly. So it's been quite a frustrating race here in Belgium in the opening round, and Triarty won the race, and we're going to finish 5th on the road, but it's going to turn into P7, and you can hear me slamming my desk in pure frustration because this race did not go to plan. A very frustrating opener. The pace wasn't there, the confidence wasn't there, and all we can do is go again. But the main thing is, we could be a front runner in WR this season, and I think that really excites me. So the next race is Qatar. Not one of my best tracks, but we'll go again and see what happens. So if you guys enjoyed the season opener, I know it was a bit frustrating, but go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 200 subscribers. and we'll see what happens next time in WOR. So until then, take care. I'll see all of you in the next one.